Thank you for tuning us this evening for the January 10th, 2024 Monte Sereno Site and Architectural Commission regular meeting. Before the meeting is called to order, I would like to point out a few house rules to assist commissioners, staff, and members of the public to successfully participate in this meeting. For tonight's meeting, Zoom is being used to allow public viewing and participation of the Site and Architectural Commission regular meeting. Please use chat only to report technical issues such as being unable to hear a commissioner speaking. And please use raise hand to be acknowledged by the commissioner and to address the commission. Participants will be able to listen and also provide feedback through public comments. Lastly, when we are not all in the same room, all votes in the meeting must be taken by roll call.
Okay, with that, I'd like to call to order the January 10th, 2024 meeting of the Monte Sereno Site and Architectural Commission. Ms. Perkins, would you like to proceed with the roll call for attendees, please?
Oh, so sorry. Just before we start, I want to go ahead. We have one of our commissioners participating virtually. She has to state her reason for participating, for the reason, yeah, and then we can proceed.
Okay.
Yes. So Donna, can you unmute?
Yes.
There you go.
Thank you. Hi, Happy New Year to everyone. Thank you for allowing me to dial in virtually this evening. I am not able to attend in person because of an illness within my family. So it's best that I just stay quarantined from the public at the moment.
So just to confirm, you are participating virtually under the Just Cause, and nobody under the age of 18 is in the same room with you, correct?
That's correct.
Perfect. Okay, then we can proceed with roll call. Thank you, Donna.
Welcome, Commissioner Tam. Nice to see you.
Thank you very much.
Commissioner Conley,
Here.
Commissioner Evans,
Here.
Commissioner Srivastava, here, Commissioner Tam,
Present, yes, here.
and Chair Zeidler.
Here. Now we'll move on to oral we have a quorum. We'll move on to oral communications. It's a chance for members of the public to speak to anything not on the agenda. Would anyone in the chambers like to speak to anything not on the agenda tonight? No?
No hands are raised.
Okay, no hands raised. All right. Seeing none, I'll close public comment. And Ms. Perkins, did we receive any written communications in advance of the meeting?
No, we have not.
Okay, and then I'll close written communications. And then let's move on to reviewing the minutes from the December 6th, 2023 Site and Architectural Commission meeting. So we have new commissioners and then we have existing commissioners. I know you weren't officially on the commission yet, but you were here in chambers, right? So who do we have that wishes to review this item and is able to vote for it? Do you have any questions on the minutes or comments?
I'm good with them.
And I'll have to take it out to the public too, so I should do that first. Do any members of the public have any comments on the last minutes? No? And no hands raised online? Okay, and Commissioner Conley, do you have any comments on the minutes?
No, but I move the adoption of the minutes from the meeting of November 1st. No, that's not.
December 6th, right?
December 6th, 2023.
Is there a second?
I second.
Oh, you did? Okay, wonderful, okay. And may we have a vote, please?
Yes, Commissioner Conley,
Yes.
Commissioner Evans,
Yes.
Commissioner Srivastava, yes, Commissioner Tam,
Yes.
and Chair Zeidler.
Yes. Okay, motion carries. Now we'll move on to the public hearing part of the meeting. Ms. Perkins, would you like to introduce that first item?
Yes, thank you. This is an application for a 6-foot high fence in the front yard at 18510 Bicknell Road. The property is a flag lot and the fence is located over 100 feet from the front property line. The proposed fence and gate are both wood cedar with horizontal rails, and the gate will have a metal frame and posts. Staff recommends approval of the site development permit as conditioned in the memorandum of decision, the draft memorandum of decision that's attached to the staff report. And this completes, the verbal staff report, and I'm happy to answer any questions you might have.
So just for the record, at this point, Commissioner will be recusing herself.
Okay.
And can you state your reason for recusing yourself?
So, I'm within 100 feet of, border with this property, and so there is a conflict of interest. But they can excuse myself and I will.
We'll come in with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And commissioners, do you have any questions for Ms. Perkins?
I do. I have a couple of questions, but it's mostly probably because I'm new to this. The two things that in looking through things that I wanted to better understand was, are these gates such that they have kind of fire access, like gates that I've seen where they have a little red box on it where the fire department can come through those gates, or how does that, what are the city requirements in that area?
Yes, the vehicular gates, do require a building permit. A typical fence requires a building permit if it's over 7 feet high. But vehicle gates across the driveway, regardless of the height, do require a building permit. And those plans are, sent to the Santa Clara County Fire Department for their review. And they do typically require a Knox box.
Gotcha.
With the fire department access
Right.
key in it.
Okay. And then the other thing that is just for me to understand, again, what is the look and feel of it, it appears from the gate is like these 8-foot centers with 6-foot, I guess, 8-inch centers, I should say, with 6-inch slats. So it's about an inch of like clearance between each of the slats, if I'm not, something like that. Is that what we tend to see in gates? The ones that I'm familiar with, you can just see through, they're just iron gates or whatever they happen to be, but I don't know if that architecture is changing of late or and then this one's certainly set back pretty much as well, so.
Yeah, there, is a variety of, different styles of gates that we've seen. I would say, in general, the, gates that are less visible from the street, are generally, less concerning of the
Mhm.
openness. You know, the more visible from the street,
Got it.
the more,
Mhm.
openness, I think that we would recommend,
Got it.
for visual.
Got it.
Like this.
Do you have any questions, Mr. Conley?
No.
And Ms. Cam, do you have any questions for Ms. Perkins?
I do not.
Okay, then I will open it to the applicant. If you would like to speak, you have 5 minutes to speak if you would like to speak to you or your representative to the project. And then after that, members of the public will have 3 minutes.
Good evening, everybody. Thanks for all the work you do here with the city. I'm Tom Sloan. I'm the project's architect and was asked sort of after construction began to develop a plan for this gate. And I think to answer the councilman's question about the style of the gate, you're right. It's not traditional. It's definitely contemporary, and the home itself is a modern or contemporary home.
Mhm.
And so these horizontal lines are very characteristic of that, rather than sort of the gentrified look with iron and of a more traditional home or something like that. So the horizontal lines kind of keep it just more or less looking like the fence, and it blends together with that. And yes, the Knox box, the fire department absolutely will require something like that in case of emergencies. Yep. So I think, thank you. If you have any questions of me, I'm here.
I have one. I wondered if you considered in designing the gate, the possibility of adding a turnaround. I always think of when people come off the road and turn up the road, for the homeowner, it's no problem. But if it's someone that won't be going through the gate, whether if it's a delivery person or someone that took a wrong turn, they need to get back out.
Believe it or not, at the gates there, it will automatically open 24/7, 365. Right?
Yeah,
That's the idea.
It has a pressure, so when they drive up, it'll open.
Yeah, and we did their home in Saratoga many years ago. And I've been up there a lot, same thing. They live in this very private area, but you drive right up to the gate and it always opens, even if they're not home.
So is the gate, it's aesthetic and to just sort of discourage, or what's the goal with the gate?
I think it would discourage people from driving up there, and we did talk about that, right? Because it is a long, very long driveway. You can, from the street itself, because of the knoll going up there, I don't know if anybody walked over there, but it's really not gonna be seen at all. And so if somebody drives up there, backing out would be a trouble. So there is a circle drive beyond where you can keep it all, you don't have to put it in reverse ever, so.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
That's very helpful. And I did drive by. We tried to drive by and take a look over.
Okay. Where is it? I don't know where it's going.
Thank you. And do we have anyone raising their hands virtually? Anyone from the public that would like to speak? Your hands are raised. Okay. Well, with that, I'll close public comment and bring it back to the commission for discussion. Anyone want to go first?
I thought it was well done and so far back that it's not very visible and it's very consistent with what I think you would have. I prefer more air in it, but it is way back. 100 feet's a good distance, 25 yards. So I don't see any problem with this.
Commissioner Evans or Tam?
I'm good. I think, just to understand well, there's also a pedestrian gate, is that right? That goes alongside of it?
Yes.
Okay. And that, I assume, is, it's obviously the streets, the pavement's wide enough for all that, for people to walk through that one, so it seems fine. The thing that I brought up and just wondered about is this whole, how much of it's open, but it's more about whether the fire department and police department are okay with it. I thought, a closed wall would seem like it kind of, people could hide behind it or do whatever you want to do, but that doesn't seem like that, that's not the case with this, so it doesn't seem to have any issues. It's also very similar to some of the fencing that I've seen in like the new remodel that was done on Dave's, and that same kind of wood fencing, which looks fine.
Commissioner Tam?
You're on mute.
Sorry, no further questions or feedback.
Okay. Okay, would anyone like to make a motion regarding this item?
I move that we add,
Oh, and you know what, I should have said what I think. I skipped right over that. I forgot. My thought is, I totally agree with you. Okay, now would you like to make a motion?
I move that we accept this development and gate approval, the development permit as set forth in the memorandum SR 23269, related to application number 2023-3081.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Great. A roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Conley,
Yes.
Commissioner Evans,
Yes.
Commissioner Tam,
Yes.
and Chair Zeidler.
Yes. The motion passes. Thank you and good luck with your project.
Thank you.
Submit for building now?
Yes. And with that, that was item 2. Would you like to introduce? Yeah, take care.
I need to recuse myself from this.
So Commissioner Connolly is going to recuse himself. Do we, should we introduce, state the name of the item first before he recuses himself, or does he just get out?
Let's wait just for, Diana to at least give the.
To know which item it is,
Yeah.
and
And
then
then
you
he
can
can-
recuse yourself.
Oh,
Recuse
okay,
yourself.
go ahead.
As long as you do it before you guys go into
Discussion.
Yeah.
So this is an application for a 6-foot high fence in the front yard at 18172 Days Avenue. The property is located at an inside corner along Days Avenue. A separate site development permit was approved by the commission on October 4th of 2023 for a front yard fence and vehicular gate that was set back approximately 80 feet from the front property line. The commission had approved that project with the condition that a turnaround area for a vehicle be provided on the property before the gate. The property owner has submitted this subsequent application requesting the front yard fence and vehicle gate to be located 12.5 feet from the front property line. The gates are proposed as black steel with stucco pilasters and walls on each side. The gates are proposed to be black steel tube for the framing and horizontal rails with solid steel panels between the rails. The proposed solid fencing and stucco walls are inconsistent with the city's design guidelines, which discourage solid fencing and stucco walls in the front yard. Although the previously approved application included a similar solid gate and stucco wall, the setback from the property line was over 80 feet, which mitigated the visual impact of these elements from the street. Staff recommends that the approval include a condition that the area of the gates be revised to be a minimum of 75% open with steel tube framing and horizontal rails, but without the solid metal panels between the rails. Additionally, staff recommends that the approval be conditioned so that the fence and gate be located a minimum of 30 feet from the front property line. This would provide space for one vehicle to wait in the driveway while the gate opens without backing up onto the street. Additionally, 30 feet is the required front yard setback for any other structure that would provide a similar stucco or solid look from the street. Staff recommends approval with these two conditions. Again, that the area of the gates be 75% open and the front setback be a minimum of 30 feet. These conditions are included in the draft memorandum of decision that's attached to the staff report, and I'd be happy to answer any questions you have.
With that, would you like to,
I have to recuse myself because I'm in
100 feet,
the diameter.
1,000 feet, excuse me.
1,000 feet.
It's almost what I'm saying.
So he has to recuse himself, right? Yes. Okay. So we do need Commissioner Tam back.
Do I have to leave the room or?
Sorry, since you're participating remotely, we need to have the camera on at all times.
Sure.
Sorry.
Okay. Does anyone have any questions for Ms. Perkins?
So, a couple questions. One, so I think you were mentioning that the wall is okay, given that it's set back far enough, because the wall thing seems, I mean, Dave's is kind of a weird street because it has a lot of side yards on it. So there's walls on the side yards of a number of homes that are along that way. But this would be the only wall that I'm aware of that would be in the front yard. Is that correct? And certainly at that height.
That I can think of, yes. With the staff recommended 30-foot setback. The reasoning for the 30-foot setback requirement is what the minimum front yard setback is. So a structure could be built at that point.
Got it. Okay.
Tam, do you have any questions? Before we open it to public comment? Okay, is it,
I had a question. So my question was that, what is the rationale behind the 75% of the gate being open? So you said no solid panels, etc. So that, so I'm just questioning that percentage and what is there a code around it or what is the rationale?
So there is not a specific municipal code requirement. other than this discretionary review by the Site and Architectural Commission, for this type of offense, and in this location. The citywide design guidelines do discourage the solid fencing in the front yard. And, so the 75% openness, was a factor to balance the solid stucco, as well as to, eliminate any sort of, walled off feeling from the street.
And no need for a turnaround, because it's only 30 feet in, is that the idea?
Certainly that could be something that the commission would add. You could add that as a
And the only thing,
requirement.
yeah, I mean, my only thinking there is that it's on a pretty busy corner, and that, you know, somebody backing into that corner, backing out of that driveway, whether it be a truck or what have you, could be
Yeah.
dangerous.
So, I'm right there with you. So we ask her questions and then we put it out to the public for their comment.
Mhm.
And then we bring it back to ourselves for discussion.
Okay.
So, is there anyone online besides Commissioner Tam? Any online questions or is the applicant?
So the applicant is online, let me go ahead.
Okay, so we'll give the applicant, if, since the commission doesn't have any more initial questions for Ms. Perkins, we'll turn it over to the applicant and the applicant will have 5 minutes to speak.
Okay, Matthew?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Your 5 minutes starts.
Perfect.
Welcome.
So we're here. Can you guys hear me right now?
Thank you.
Okay, so we're here to propose a vehicular gate for egress and ingress of the property. We have added a turnaround and the actual, the civil engineer has figured all this turning radius with a 24-foot box truck to back into the adjacent driveway and go forward into Dave's Avenue. As well, I wanted to bring up that the actual fence from curb and gutter is 53 feet away from it. It's not, obviously the property line is set back a little bit more. And another thing I wanted to bring up is that we would like to keep the fence as solid as possible for privacy things. We've seen a lot of loiterers hanging out in this corner. There's been a lot of issues. The neighbor got broken into and the owners have expressed a lot of worries. So yeah, I would like you guys to take that into consideration. Yeah, that's it. So let me know if you have any questions.
Do any of you have any questions? So your original, so the plans that got approved, that was conditioned on having a turnaround.
Correct.
And this new proposal has a turnaround too, or you're saying that you're going to use the neighbor's driveway as a turnaround point?
This whole area is more like of an easement, so it's about 45 by 45 by 30, and 3 properties come together in that area. It's very specific. So yeah, the neighbors use that area to turn around back and forth from their properties. So there is enough space to turn around, if that's your question. Before, when it was 90 feet away, there was not enough space. You're 100% right. Now we do have the space to do that for a big box truck to do that turning radius as well. So it works better.
Ms. Perkins?
If I can just add something, on the plans,
Yes.
on the 3rd sheet of the plans, you can see, the location of the fence and the property lines. The area in front of, between, the Dave's Avenue Street currently and the property line, I believe is city right of way. So any sort of backup or maneuvering clearance or required maneuvering space would not, be allowed to be on the city's right of way. any required maneuvering space would need to be on the private property.
Thank you for that clarification. Do we have, did you have any other comments or?
No, I don't.
Thank you for being available and presenting. Do we have anybody online, anyone else online, member of the public that might want to wish to speak? Okay, all right, well, with that, we'll close public comment and bring it back to the commission for discussion. You kind of started with the flavor of your comments. Do you wanna-
Jump-started, yeah.
Yeah, did you jump started us? Would you like to continue with those?
Yeah, I think, I mean, as I said, that intersection or that corner is a pretty busy corner, and it's obviously pretty visible to everybody that comes and goes, and the like. And I'm kind of leaning towards the more openness, while I recognize the interest in privacy. I also think there's, a view that the police department can't see through that fence if it's solid like that. So it almost becomes a bit of a hiding spot for someone if they were to want to get over the fence and then be able to cause trouble. So I think that it has the Knox box, if I'm not mistaken, as identified in it. So that seems to be the fire department side of things. I think the more open approach with the turnaround requirements, so they're not backing and, where they shouldn't, whether that be on the city piece or certainly into the street, which is a pretty dangerous little corner. So those are kind of my thoughts.
Like the.
No, I concur. I think the points are valid, more transparency on the gate and at least sufficient place to turn around. I'm not able to visualize that turnaround right now because I thought there wasn't, but I'm hearing there is. So,
It's funny you say that because driving by there, I don't really see a spot to turn around. Or if it is, it's the city's right away. But my impression also is that it's quite tight.
I think we should require turnaround space. And there will be encroachment on the main road.
Yeah, my sense is where the Conrado trailer is their property, I assume, and that area is obviously available for turnaround if that's where they live. Because that would then just be within that same proximity of the fence or the gate. Well, I'm not mistaken.
I have the same concerns, and we looked at this last year, and there was a conditional approval for the stucco fence to be 80 feet back, and the design guidelines discourage stucco. We normally don't approve stucco, but it was thought that it was so far back, kind of out of view, that we were more permissive of that. So I have two concerns. One is aesthetic and one is safety. And I feel like if they want stucco, it pretty much needs, in my mind, to be back the 80 feet. And if they want to bring the gate forward, the fencing gate forward, closer to the road, further from the stucco house, it needs to be one of the materials that are more consistent with the design guidelines, like wood or something on that order. And then I was the one who really advocated for the turnaround in the initial project. And I think so they initially asked for 12 feet back, which is less than we would normally allow. Ms. Perkins had said 20 is the minimum we usually allow, right? So you can have one car waiting for the gate to open and then a second car behind it. So if that's just on any given street, what we require, this is a very dangerous curve. And Ms. Perkins, didn't you say there was an accident in the area in the last year or so?
Yes, have heard there is a history of accidents at this curve, and the most recent one was, I believe, last summer.
Yeah.
I guess flipped his car there.
What? Wow.
Yeah, flipped his car into the mailbox that's just next door and took out the mailbox.
And my younger daughter went to Dave's. A lot of her friends walked back and forth as far as that. So, in the mornings and afternoons, there may be children too. So I think we definitely need to turn around, like you all have said. And, I prefer the 80 feet in, but it, a closer would be okay in my mind, the 30 feet, if there is a turnaround. You know, these days there are a lot of FedEx, UPS trucks. I think you have to accommodate a truck, so you don't have a truck backing towards school kids and then potentially getting rear-ended once they get out today. So that's kind of my thinking. Ms. Tam, you haven't spoken yet. Would you like to weigh in on what you think?
I mean, no further feedback that has already been given.
Okay. So, I personally would, like to move that if we, well, I agree with the staff report with the 30 feet, but I would condition it on a different set of material. So I don't know if you can approve a fence with that big a condition. What do you think, Ms. Perkins?
It's up to the commission. If, you feel comfortable approving it, with specific conditions, you can certainly do that. Or, you can ask the applicant to redesign and return to the commission. Or you can deny the application.
Well, my thought would tend to be toward asking them to redesign it. I don't know how you feel, because I feel there's so many variables that we're not quite comfortable with. And it might be nice to let them think through all of those and come back with a new application.
Yeah, because I think the pictures that we saw represented the 12-foot setback, and then the wall would have been much smaller, because the walls would have been much smaller.
Right.
You shut it 30 feet, now you've got it, because it reaches the corner to corner, right, is what I'm understanding. So you got a longer stucco wall that you're having to look at.
Potentially.
Right.
So, then we would need a motion to have them resubmit. What would be what terminology are you looking for?
I may also suggest that you confirm with the applicant, that they're okay with, redesigning. That may not, necessarily preclude the commission from taking what action you feel, is appropriate, but it may just inform your decision of what you want.
That's a very good point. Thank you. Can we open the applicant's mic?
Matthew? Matthew, can you hear?
Can you hear me?
Yes,
Uh-huh.
Matthew, and thank you. How would you feel? Would you be interested in redesigning the fence and gate at the 30-foot position with
Yeah.
turnaround?
Yeah, we could show that setback. We could show the vehicular gate in that location. Yeah, 100%. I mean, if you guys want to approve that too, we can just set it back 30 feet from the property line as well. Keep the same, keep the same look. If you guys would be okay with that. Yeah.
I personally, we discourage stucco in the front yard, and when it goes from 80 feet where it's kind of near the house out to the public right away, I think we have to respect the design guidelines that discourage stucco.
Okay.
So, and
Okay.
consider the more typical materials of the area.
Perfect. Okay. Well, yeah, we'll do that. Thank you.
So I would like to move that on this application for a site development permit for the 6-foot high fence and wall at 18172 Dave's, that the applicant be given the opportunity to redesign the project in accordance with our comments about adding a turnaround and changing the stucco to a more typical permitted fence material for the area that, you know, Ms. Perkins could advise on.
And along with the visibility, the openness that we're referring to.
That would be one of, yeah, we would look for visibility for safety.
And, if I could also suggest, if the commission would like to, continue this item to the next meeting of February 7th, if you continue the item to a specific future meeting, and staff doesn't have to renotice the neighbors
Oh, okay.
of the meeting, and otherwise we would have to
Okay.
renotice the neighbors.
And is it pressing to get it done in February?
No, as long as and if you're not comfortable continuing to a specific date, that's fine, we can certainly renotice, the neighbors. Any future, continuing to
I
any
was just
future
thinking
specific
because,
dates.
I think currently, don't we have kind of a light calendar for February's meeting? If it's the only
We
item.
do, and it is getting close to, the time frames where we would, need to have the report completed and ready for internal review. So to make the February 7th meeting would be a tight schedule at this point. But
Yeah.
it could be done if the commission so chooses.
Let's ask the applicant, do you really need to have this buttoned up in February or would March work?
Matthew?
Sorry. The sooner the better. To be honest, the owner's wanting to get this approved, so we can get the ball rolling. Yeah, if possible, that would be awesome if we could, the sooner the better, yeah.
So then if we continue it to February.
Yeah.
Then it's just their onus to get the package together, right?
That is correct.
Okay.
By when would you guys need the resubmittal?
The plans would need to be finalized, by next Tuesday, the 16th. So we would need the plans, probably by Friday in order to, have time to review them.
Perfect. Thank you.
So with that, I will move that we continue this matter to the February meeting or March if if you manage to get it done in February. Is there a second?
Second.
Great. And then maybe we have a roll call vote, please, Ms. Perkins.
Yes, Commissioner Conley? I'm sorry, he recused himself. Commissioner Evans?
Yes.
Commissioner Srivastava?
Yes.
Commissioner Tam?
Yes.
And Chair Zeidler.
Yes. Okay, well, thank you very much, Matthew, for working with us. And we'll see you again in February.
I removed his ability.
Okay, okay. Well, then we should bring Mr. Conley back, Commissioner Conley.
Push-ups against this wall.
I made sure earlier that both of you could wait inside because I was a little afraid you'd be outside. It's cold.
We would never.
Okay. All right. Good job, everyone. Okay. So, Ms. Perkins, would you like to introduce the next item, please?
Yes, thank you. The Community Center Committee was established by the City Council in January of 2023. The committee has been tasked with several functions related to the planned remodel of the former post office building next to City Hall and the conversion of this building to a community center. The membership of the committee includes 2 members of the Site and Architectural Commission. In January of 2023, the commission appointed Commissioner White and Chair Zeidler to the committee. As Commissioner White is no longer on the Site and Architectural Commission, a replacement member should be appointed to the committee to fill his seat. And that completes the staff report. I'm happy to answer any questions you might have.
Anyone have any questions for Ms. Perkins?
No?
And just to add to that, actually, the community center meets once a month. And they usually meet on the Wednesday right after the second meeting in the month of the city council.
So
Usually
the
third
Yes,
Wednesday
the third
at 9 a.m.
In the morning, yes. So just for you guys to have that in mind, make sure that it's something that you guys can, attend to.
Then I guess we would take public comment. Are there any members of the public on?
No hands are raised.
Okay, we'll close the public comment. I would like to nominate Commissioner Connolly for the open position because he's served faithfully the last year on site and architecture and attended, I think, all the meetings or just about all, and I always appreciate his feedback and think he'd have a
I'm here
lot.
all the time. You just,
I think I might have missed one that you were at, so. So I'd like to make that nomination. Does anyone have other nominations?
So moved.
I'm flattered.
Hannah, are you, accepting the nomination? Wonderful.
I mean, I will say, if I can I make a comment?
Sure.
So I'm not in favor of this, of the whole program, the whole project, so it's better that I not be part of it. Brian and I had a fairly active conversation about it. I just don't think it's the right use of money for us, but that was my viewpoint. So I didn't want to sit on the committee that I didn't know.
A fair comment. And Ms. Tam, would you like to nominate anyone or do you have any comments?
I don't have anyone in particular. However, you know, should you need some help temporarily or long-term, I'd be happy to volunteer my time, but at this time, I can't think of anyone I would personally nominate, but happy to help, you know, to fill in some gaps where needed.
Thank you.
So I believe this is a standing committee and will, be in place until the end of next year. So it'll be only one more year, this committee.
Well, it could continue depending on how long it takes to do the renovation, right?
Yeah.
I was hoping for.
You may get your chance. Okay, so I made a nomination. Would someone like to second the nomination? Okay, wonderful. May we have a roll call vote?
Commissioner Conley,
Yes,
Commissioner Evans,
Yes.
Commissioner Srivastava,
Yes.
Commissioner Tam,
Yes.
Chair Zeidler.
Yes. Congratulations.
I'll see you next
Well,
week.
that's how much it is.
We'll see you
Donut.
next Wednesday.
That's at 9 o'clock.
9
The
a.m.
meetings run.
Yeah.
Some are short, some are long. A lot of times people say I have a hard stop an hour out.
Oh, okay. I have a hard stop an hour. I've got to catch a plane that day. So,
We could chat after.
Yeah, we can get into more detail about that later. Okay. And then, item 5, would you like to introduce that, please, Ms. Perkins?
Yes, thank you. This item is to welcome our two new commissioners, Commissioner Evans and Commissioner Tam, to the Site Architecture Commission. And then, as we do at the first meeting of every year, to select a chairperson and vice chair for the 2024 calendar year. Although we elect a new chairperson and vice chair each year, there is no limit to how long one commissioner may serve in either of those positions. So, you know, an existing chair could be reselected for the coming year. The vice chair for last year had been Commissioner Balasubramanian, who is no longer on the commission. So that would need to be a new nomination for this year.
Are there any nominations?
I nominate Allison Zeidler,
As the chair, continue.
and because of her competence, her organization, her clear thinking, and her fair play. I think she's done an incredible job this year, starting it as a rookie and finishing up as an all-star.
Oh,
Nicely
very,
done.
that's very kind of you. Are there any other nominations or do we do one at a time? Do we do first chair and then, okay,
Yes, that would be.
Unless there's any other nominations.
okay. Are there any other nominations? Okay, and is there a second on,
Well, why don't we
Or
go
how-
ahead and open this one for public?
oh, I'm sorry. I
And
forgot
then,
that.
yes, definitely.
Is there any public on?
No,
comments?
it's all
Any
raised.
hands raised? Okay, then we'll close public comment and bring it back to the commission for, there's a nomination. Is there a second for the
I
nomination? Thank you. And then a roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Conley,
Yes.
Commissioner Evans,
Yes.
Commissioner Srivastava,
Yes.
Commissioner Tam,
Yes.
and Chair Zeidler.
Yes, thank you very much. Okay.
Welcome back.
Practice makes perfect. I'll work on improving even, next year. And then we need a vice chair too. So, my understanding is people can't nominate themselves, right? We have to nominate them, or can we ask who would be interested in serving?
I might defer to the city clerk.
Sorry, I was checking in. It's not through my site for one of others.
So for vice chair, I've heard before that people can't nominate themselves, but I'm not sure if that's true. Can they say they're interested?
Yes.
Okay,
They can be considered if they wish to be considered.
okay. Would anyone like to state that they are interested in serving as vice chair? It's not a bad gig.
I'm happy to serve as vice chair, but Commissioner Connelly is, I think, more suited,
So would you like to nominate?
I would like to nominate him. If he declines, then I can volunteer for sure.
I would accept that nomination.
Great.
Wonderful. Okay, and then we'll take it out to public comment, correct? Do we have any hands raised online?
No hands are raised.
Okay, so we have a nomination. I would like to second that nomination. And Ms. Perkins, could you please do a roll call vote?
Yes, Commissioner Conley,
Yes.
Commissioner Evans,
Yes.
Commissioner Srivastava,
Yes.
Commissioner Tam,
Yes.
and Chair Zeidler.
Yes. Wonderful. Welcome to the new commissioners. We're doing great work here. Is there anything else on the agenda? No? Okay, with that, I would like to call to close the meeting of January 10th meeting at 7:50.
The clock's 2 minutes.
7:48.
7:48.